What is Web 2.0? Web 2.0 is a type of website that allows users to interact and collaborate with each other in a social media dialogue as creators of user-generated content in a virtual community. It contrasts with the first generation of Web 1.0 websites, whereas those websites were very limited in how content was viewed. Examples of that include very static looking web pages versus the more dynamic type of websites we see today that allow users to make profiles and use social media to connect with other social media apps. Let's look at the differences of the characteristics between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 websites. If you look at the list on this slide, you'll see these characteristics that differentiate the two. Look closely at the one for Web 2.0. What are some words that seem to stand out that you don't normally see in the Web 1.0 section? You see words like interactive, peer-to-peer, file sharing. You even see descriptions of websites that allow anyone to use or edit them. You see mass user participation without approval of content, usually done by gatekeepers or an editorial staff, something that's characteristic of Web 1.0 websites. You also see more options to interact with a website, things like tagging of images and videos, again, something you can't do in Web 1.0. Now let's talk about cloud computing. So what is cloud computing? According to Microsoft, cloud computing is the delivery of computing services such as servers, storage, databases, networking, software, and analytics over the use of the internet, also known as the cloud. There are companies that can offer these type of computing services, and these are called cloud providers. And they typically charge for cloud computing services based on usage, similar to how you're billed for water or electricity at home. Next, let's talk about the benefits of cloud computing. Again, referring to Microsoft, they list 6 benefits to cloud computing: cost, speed, global scale, productivity, performance, and reliability. Let's look at cost. Cloud computing eliminates the capital expense of buying hardware and software and setting up and running on-site data centers, such as racks on servers, the actual electricity and power, and the IT experts who manage the infrastructure. Moving on to speed. Most cloud computing services are provided self-service and on-demand, so even the vast amounts of computing resources can be provisioned only within minutes. Moving on to global scale, the benefits of cloud computing services include the ability to scale elastically. That means delivering the right amount of IT resources, such as determining more or less computing power, the storage, and the bandwidth as needed. Next is productivity. This is the on-site data centers, which typically require a lot of racking and stacking of hardware setup, the software patching, and other time-consuming management chores expected from IT personnel. Cloud computing helps remove the need for many of these tasks. Next, performance. The biggest cloud computing services run on a worldwide network of secure data centers, which are regularly upgraded to the latest generation of fast and efficient computing hardware. This offers several benefits over a single corporate data center, which includes reduced network latency for applications and greater economies of scale. And lastly, reliability. Cloud computing makes data backup, disaster recovery, and business continuity easier and much less expensive. This is because the data can be mirrored at multiple redundant sites on the cloud provider's network. Now let's talk about the 3 types of cloud services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Infrastructure as a service is the most basic category of cloud computing services. With this, you rent IT infrastructure, servers and virtual machines, or VMs, storage, networks, operating systems, all from a cloud provider on a pay-as-you-go basis. Platform as a service refers to the cloud computing services that supply an on-demand environment for developing, testing, delivering, and managing software applications. Platform as a service is designed to make it easier for developers to quickly create web or mobile apps without worrying about setting up or managing the underlying infrastructure of servers, storage, network, and databases needed for development. Lastly, software as a service is the method for delivering software applications over the internet, on demand and typically on a subscription style basis. With software as a service, the cloud providers host and manage the software application and underlying infrastructure. They also handle any type of maintenance as needed. These can include software upgrades and security patching. Users connected to the application over the internet, usually with a web browser on their phone, tablet, or PC.